Welcome back to the Ice is Slippery YouTube channel, where today we're doing something a little bit different. We're not doing a podcast this week simply because there's basically no news. We're doing a tier list of where I think teams are at in terms of how close they are to winning the Stanley Cup this season. So, let's just go in order. Anaheim Ducks. I'm going to place them in bubble teams. This one could be a little controversial, but I think the Ducks are right on the edge of playoff contention. I could also put them in direction unknown because they made kind of a lot of weird moves this season. It made it seem like they were going towards contention, but they were also kind of not. They hired Joel Quenneville, which I think is a great move, but they also traded Trevor Zegras and replaced him with an aging Mikhail Granlund, which is not something I think they should have done, but I think they are closer to playoff contention. Their young players are going to keep developing. They have direction, and it's going up, but I don't think they're quite there yet. I think it's going to take another 1 or 2 seasons, though they could have a chance. Boston Bruins, I'm going to put them in direction unknown because I don't think they're that bad of a team. I mean, they still have guys like David Pastrnak, Charlie McAvoy, Jeremy Swayman, but they also didn't really make any moves. It's all seemed to replace the void left by Brad Marchand, and I don't think they're close to rebuilding or making the playoffs, which is why I have them here. This one needs no explanation. Buffalo Sabres are trash. Calgary Flames, I'm also going to put them in direction unknown. Because, I mean, I haven't paid much attention to the Flames this offseason, though. They haven't made basically any moves. They have a bunch of old guys who I don't think are developing. They seem close to making the playoffs every single year. They have a young goaltender in Dustin Wolf, but I don't think they're that good. Carolina Hurricanes, this one's close. They're definitely going to make the playoffs. This might be biased, but I'm going to put them in Stanley Cup favorites. Now, do I think they're the favorite to win the Cup? No. Florida is, I think, but they're definitely up there. The move of Nikolai Ehlers definitely helped. Defense, I wouldn't say got better, but it definitely got younger. They're definitely going to be Stanley Cup contenders for a while, but I definitely think this is Rod Brind'Amour's last chance to take the Hurricanes a step further, because this is a great team to do it. They added Nikolai Ehlers, they added Keandre Miller. It's now or never. Chicago Blackhawks, yes, they're trash, but I do think they're going to take another step this season. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're not even going to be close, but Connor Bedard's going to have another great year. Okay, honestly, I don't know what else to say. Colorado Avalanche. Another one I'm torn. I'm going to put them in playoff locks. Again, they're going to make the playoffs. There's no question about that, but also, I don't really think they're Stanley Cup favorites. I mean, they kept a lot of the players, but they also made a really weird trade, giving up Charlie Coyle and Miles Wood. They're not the same team without Mikko Rantanen, no matter what way you put it. I do like the Brent Burns signing, but they're just not ready yet. And their goaltending, I mean, you can do better than Mackenzie Blackwood. So, I don't think the Avalanche are quite Stanley Cup contenders, but they're obviously going to make the playoffs. Columbus Blue Jackets, I'm going to put them in direction unknown, simply because it's hard to figure out, exactly where they're going to go. Their story without Johnny Gaudreau was fantastic last year, but I just don't think they're quite there. Dallas Stars. Now, in my predictions, I actually had them winning the Stanley Cup, so I kind of have to put them in Stanley Cup contenders, and here's why. I mean, obviously they did lose Mikhail Granlund, but they actually did a pretty good job managing their cap situation. They traded Mason Marchment. They traded Matt Dumba. They got Jamie Benn get back on a really team-friendly deal. They re-signed Matt Duchene. Their Wyatt Johnston's going to keep developing. They have a full season of Mikko Rantanen. Thomas Harley's developing. They have Jake Ottinger and net. I mean, all the signs point to Dallas being one of the favorites. Detroit Red Wings. I'm going to put them in... I'm torn. Bubble team. I mean, the addition of John Gibson this offseason was obviously huge. They kept Patrick Kane. They have Alex DeBrincat, Dylan Larkin. I mean, they're a young team, and I think they're as close as they're going to get to making the playoffs. This is a good team. Edmonton Oilers, playoff locks, not Stanley Cup contenders. Their goaltending is very iffy. They lost Corey Perry, who was a big piece. I mean, that's pretty much all they lost, but Corey Perry was big. Now, they will likely have Zach Hyman back for the most important part of the season, but I just don't see them being as dominant as they have been. Florida Panthers, this one needs no explanation either. They're probably going to win the Stanley Cup. I know I said it's going to be Dallas, but really we all know the Panthers are the best, unfortunately. Los Angeles Kings. I know everybody says they had a terrible offseason, but they are still one of the better teams in the National Hockey League. Anze Kopitar is not going to have many more shots. Same with Drew Doughty. Adrian Kempe is great. Kevin Fiala. Darcy Kemper just got Vezina votes. I mean, they're not a bad team by any stretch of the imagination. And they're going to make the playoffs. Minnesota Wild, I don't think they're locks to make the playoffs. They're going to be right in the hunt, obviously. With guys like Kirill Kaprizov, Joel Eriksson Ek. I don't know if they made a move this offseason, but also I don't know if they really had to. They do need to make a move if they want to get out of the first round, but to make the playoffs, I think they're just one of those teams that's going to be close or be just good enough every year. I mean, it kind of sucks for Wild fans, the position they're in. They're kind of wasting Kirill Kaprizov's potential. Montreal Canadiens, I'm also going to put them in bubble team. I don't know, I'm kind of skeptical of the Habs. I think they could take another step forward, but also their depth was absolutely tested in the playoffs against Washington, and it faltered. A full season of Ivan Demidov will be huge. They got Noah Dobson from the Islanders. I don't know if they're playoff locks. They're going to be very close, though. They're definitely taking steps in the right direction. Nashville Predators, direction unknown, because, I mean, they still have those three big contracts, Stamkos, Marchessault, and Shea. Last season might have been a fluke, because usually this team is right in the hunt every year as well, though what happened last season makes me skeptical, though they also now have chemistry with those three. They have Philip Forsberg, they have Roman Josi, they have UC Soros. I don't know what's going to happen this season. They could be just as bad. They could be right back in the playoffs. That's why I put them in direction unknown, because anything could happen with this Predators team. New Jersey Devils. Playoff locks. I know they got absolutely destroyed by the Hurricanes, and that's why I was skeptical, but also they didn't have Jack Hughes. They had a ton of injury issues in that series. They have Jacob Markstrom, who's fantastic. Luke Hughes is going to take another step. I like the direction where the Devils are going. New York Islanders, bubble team. And I have them making the playoffs. Yes, I know they lost Noah Dobson, but they're kind of replacing him with Matthew Schaefer. I think Elias Sorokin's bad season was a fluke. I mean, it's kind of hard to say what the Islanders are going to look like. I think they're going to be in the hunt, though I don't think they make it. New York Rangers. God, this one's tough because I'm going to put them in direction unknown. The Chris Kreider trade kind of sealed it for me. They're in a really weird spot right now. They're trading players. I mean, they gave Keandre Miller to us. They got Scott Morrow back. They also signed Gavrikov. I mean, they're in a really weird spot. Kind of like the Boston Bruins, where they're not really that close to making the playoffs. Closer than the Bruins, but they're also not even close to rebuilding. But they're obviously going to have to try really hard this season because this is Artemi Panarin's contract year. This is definitely their last chance because he is gone after this. Ottawa Senators. It's either I'm going to put them in bubble team. Because, again, I don't know exactly where. I mean, I think they're in a good spot. I don't know if they did enough, though. They brought Claude Giroux back. They have Linus Ullmark. Their young players are developing. The Brady Tkachuk's, the Tim Stutzels, the Dylan Cousins. But it's just hard to say with this Senators team because the Eastern Conference is absolutely getting better. Philadelphia Flyers. I mean, look, I liked the Trevor Zegras trade, but also I don't think they're close to making the playoffs still. I don't trust Sam Ersson and Nat really. They don't have that much star power. They don't have a ton of depth. I just don't see the Flyers being anywhere close. Pittsburgh Penguins, I'm going to put in direction unknown. I mean, it does seem like they're going to be a lottery team, but also they aren't going to be that bad with Crosby, Malkin, and Letang locked up in the core. They have Tristan Jarry and Nat. I think he's going to have a bounce-back season. I don't think they make the playoffs, but I don't think they're as bad as people think. You know who is as bad as people think? San Jose. I do like the direction they're going with the veteran leadership of Orlov and Leddy. I think they should have signed Orlov for longer if they want to get the effect that they intended. But I do like where they're going. They're just not good right now. Seattle Kraken, direction unknown, because they're not bad, but they're not great either. Kind of like a lot of these other teams I put in here, like the Bruins, like the Rangers, like the Blue Jackets, like the Flames. They're not that close to playoff contention, but not really close to rebuilding either. They're closer to rebuilding than I think anyone on this list, but again, they're not that bad. St. Louis Blues, I'm going to put in bubble teams. I just don't know if I trust them enough. That's just the honest truth. I mean, they had a fantastic season last season. Dylan Holloway and Philip Broberg were great. I don't think Jordan Binnington's going to have as good of a year. I could definitely see them missing the playoffs. It's going to be close. Tampa Bay. The Lightning, it's interesting. I'm going to put them in playoff locks. I don't know. That's not playoff lock. I don't think they're quite Stanley Cup contenders. They're very close to that line. They're definitely going to make the playoffs. Andrei Vasilevsky just had another outstanding year. Victor Hedman is always great. They did a good job replacing Stamkos with Gensel, and I think he's going to have more chemistry with the team. Brandon Hagel making a name for himself. They obviously have Kucherov, who's fantastic, Braden Point, Anthony Cirelli. They also re-signed Yanni Gord and Oliver Bjorkstrand. I think if anyone's going to take down the Florida Panthers in the East, it's either going to be them or Carolina. So, with that in mind, because I think they could beat Florida. Depth, I think the Panthers have more depth, but it's also close. So I'm going to put the Lightning in Stanley Cup favorites. Toronto Maple Leafs. The thing is, I don't think they're a lock to make the playoffs. I don't. We know they're going to compete, but I don't know if they did enough to... Okay, now I'm thinking that the Atlantic is not that good. They're going to make the playoffs. Because they did a decent job, actually. Matias Michelli, I love that addition. They're rumored to maybe getting Jack Roslovic, which I'd love. Nick Waugh's a good piece. Their goaltending's going to be interesting. I think they're going to make the playoffs, but I think they're going to go back to losing in the first round. Vancouver Canucks. They're either a bubble team or direction. I'm going to put them in direction unknown. Thatcher Demko is a huge question mark. I don't know if he's going to get back to Vezina level. If he does, they're definitely a bubble team and maybe even playoff contenders. I like the Evander Kane addition for them, but I just don't know, which is why I put them here. Vegas Golden Knights, obvious Stanley Cup contenders. The Mitch Marner edition is huge. They have possibly the best top 9 in the game. Either them or Florida. Aiden Hill's a beast. The loss of Alex Pietrangelo is going to be huge, but I think they're going to be fine because they have Shea Theodore. Yeah, Winnipeg Jets, a playoff lock, but I don't think they're Stanley Cup contenders. They haven't proven themselves to get back at the level. Losing Nikolai Ehlers sucks for them. I think they did a good enough job of replacing him, though not that great. Utah Mammoth, bubble team. I don't know if they're good enough. They definitely took steps in the right direction 100%. Is it going to be enough? We'll see. The Western Conference, I mean, I think they make the playoffs. I think a lot of the other teams in the West are unsure on going down. Well, Utah is definitely going up. They're going to be very close to the playoffs next season. And Washington Capitals, playoff lock. I think Logan Thompson is fantastic in net for them. This is going to be their last big chance to contend because I think Ovechkin's going to retire. They're trying to contend, and I think they're doing the right things to do that. We'll see. But I definitely like the direction they're heading, so... Well, do I? I mean, this is their last chance. I will say that. It's now or never for the Caps. Well, that'll do it for the tier list. Here... what I have. Let me know your opinions in the comments below. Like and subscribe if you like this video. Comment what you want to see next, and peace. Bye.